Good evening, folks. History, heritage, culture. Our Mountain Dance and Folk Festival has it all. Known affectionately as the granddaddy of all festivals, it is the oldest continually running folk festival in the nation. That's right. And possibly the only one featuring bluegrass, old-time music, ballads, clogging, Appalachian smooth dance, and storytelling. So we're honored to introduce, as a part of that, to start this off, Ed Herron. He's the grandson of Bascom Lamar Lunsford, who is the founder of this event in 1928. Ed's mission is to promote and preserve the legacy of his grandfather, and we welcome him back to kick off the 96th year of the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival. So I hope you'll join me in welcoming Ed Herron.
Thank you, Bill. When you have an event this long lasting, one of the saddest things is you lose people along the way. Not everybody makes it for the whole trip. We lost somebody recently. His name was Roger Sprung. Does that name ring a bell? Does anybody here know who Roger Sprung is? I hear some applause. Excellent. You're either real old or you're smarter than the average person. I'll leave it that way. Roger was from New York City. He was a real talent. He started coming down here in the 50s, really about the time I was born. But some of my earliest memories of the festival is seeing Roger Sprung. He was a big guy with a big smile, an even bigger heart, but he could wail away on that banjo like nothing else. He was really a prodigious talent. He ended up taking his talent back to New York City and was a very influential part of the New York folk scene in the 60s. He ended up being known as the godfather of progressive bluegrass. In fact, he influenced many of today's players. They all owe Roger for a lick or two that they learned from him. Roger said that when he was young, he was a prodigy. He learned to play the piano and focused on the guitar until he went to Washington Square Park in New York City and he saw a young Pete Seeger playing the banjo. It changed his life. He got rid of his guitar, he got a banjo, and the rest is history. Of course, we all know who put the first banjo in the hands of Pete Seeger. It is sad to lose people and friends along the way, but we have many more happy and joyous things to be appreciative of. One of them is going to happen tomorrow. Our youth talent celebration is tomorrow, so we're sad to say goodbye to Roger, but tomorrow afternoon is going to be the funnest thing you're going to do all year. It's from 2 to 4 o'clock. It's free. Everybody's 18 and under. It's our youth from our area, taught by our people, playing our music. It's our culture. And let me just share with you, it's fantastic. I've been the last 2 years. This is the third year. I walk away amazed every time. Everyone in the hall has their permission to take out your cell phone and call your neighbor and tell them they should be here tomorrow at 2 o'clock. I hope you come. It's going to be fantastic. It's the next generation of the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival. Well, thank you again for coming. I can't wait any longer. I'm going to introduce our first MCs, John Roten and Laura Businger.
Good evening. Welcome to the 96th Annual Mountain Dance and Folk Festival. I'm John Roten.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm Laura Businger, and we are delighted to be here. I started volunteering at this festival in 1979, so I'm happy to be back this year again.
I can't remember the first year. I was talking with Boyd Black, who just retired from the Stoney Creek Boys, and when I moved to this area, in 1991, 92, summer of 92 was my first time with Shindig on the Green and the festival. And, you know, like so many of us, it's a big hook. You know, I just love it. I can't wait for Shindig season, and I love the first weekend of August. We get to enjoy this.
That's right, and we are really glad y'all are here. If the lights were up, I don't think I'm going to be able to make this work. Clap your hands if you're here for the very first time tonight.
Wonderful.
All right. Now, all the folks that have been coming for years, turn around to those people and say, "We're glad you're here." I stole that from Glenn Bannerman.
You did. You did.
All right, well, I'm going to get off here and let you take charge.
You're busy. You're going to be
Got things to
performing
do.
very,
I got
very
places
shortly.
to be. All
Thank
right.
you, Laura. Laura, wonderful lady, director of the Madison County Arts Council, does so much with their jam program there, and outstanding performer. And so honored to be able to share the stage with her tonight for this wonderful event. Well, we're going to get this one started like they do every Mountain Dance and Folk Festival night. We're going to get the Stoney Creek Boys out, let them play a little bit. As I was mentioning there, Boyd Black, who was a founding member of the Stoney Creek Boys, retired as of this season. He's in the audience tonight. Got a chance to talk with him a little bit before the show, but always good to see Boyd. But he's turned this over, and Scott Owenby is going to be the gentleman back there on the bass tonight. You got George Banks, smiling George Banks on the banjo. I always have to check the fiddle players. They've been rotating lately, but this is the beautiful Rhiannon Ramsey Jenkins on fiddle and Lawrence Dillingham on guitar. Ladies and gentlemen, to kick off our Friday night portion of the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival, Stoney Creek Boys. Stoney Creek Boys, and a little dancing to go along with it. That's a nice start. Speaking of dancing, the next group we got coming up here, as the Stoney Creek Boys will be playing for all our dance teams tonight, just like they do, the house band for our Mountain Dance and Folk Festival and Shindig on the Green. But this next group, it's a youth team, really. but directed by current Folk Heritage Advisory Board member Jeff Atkins, who you just saw dancing over there a moment ago. Their current coach is Madison Castile. Now, she's danced with the team for several years and now operates her own dance studio in Burnsville. These are dedicated team members that come from 5 different counties. They've danced at every festival in western North Carolina, at Disney World, every year at the Mountain State Fair, 12-time champions at the North Carolina State Fair in Raleigh. Please make welcome to the 96th Annual Mountain Dance and Folk Festival, Coal Mountain Smooth Dancers. Coal Mountain Smooth Dancers, Stoney Creek Boys. How many of you were watching The Small Couple? Yeah. We're going to get them back out in just a bit. They're going to dance some more for us. Now, you met this lady just a few minutes ago, but we're bringing her back now to enjoy one of her many, many talents. A wonderful singer, a musician, can play the banjo, just a nice lady. Laura Businger's coming out here in just a bit. And she's been working and involved in preserving the music of this southern Appalachian region as long as I've been around, since the early 90s. And I know from things I've read and people that I've talked to before that. I did an interview once with Luke Smathers, and he would just glow when he talked about Laura. Her partner, I first met him, he was just a little fella. We'd go up to Adam's Drugstore. We're doing a special recording, and he'd be up there playing, running up and down the stairs, just having a good time, and boy, loving the music. And this Saturday, tomorrow afternoon at 2, Josh is going to be spearheading our youth competition that's going to be taking place from 2 until 4. So please come enjoy that. But these are wonderful supporters and spokespersons for the Folk Heritage Committee and, like I say, preservation of this Southern Appalachian tradition. Our pleasure to welcome Laura Businger and Josh Goforth.
Right.
Thank you very much. This is also the time of the year that Ralph Peer came down to the Southern Mountains, to Bristol, Tennessee, Virginia, in fact, put out a notice and said he was looking for fiddlers and string bands and all kind of musicians. He thought he was looking for fiddlers, but what he got that weekend was Jimmy Rogers, the first country music star, and the Carter family. 2 women who did all the work and a man who just based in once in a while. Yeah, Josh and I can show you how that goes. There's a dark and a troubled side of life. There's a bright and a sunny side too. Though we meet with the darkness and light, the sunny side we also may view.
It's close.
Maybelle and Sarah and AP drove 8 hours. It was 20 miles, but it took them 8 hours to get from Mesa Springs, Virginia down to Bristol. It was hot like we've been having hot. Maybelle was 8 months pregnant. I know, all the women are like, oh my God. They had several flat tires crossing the creeks. They had to patch those old rubber inner tubes. And when they got to the cousin's house in Bristol, they said AP stayed up all night just pacing, because he was bad to pace too. The next morning they went down to Bristol, and as it says in the history of the Carters, they arrived and there were people around the block lined up to sing for Mr. Ralph Peer. People dressed fine like in the big cities like New York, London, and Richmond, Virginia. Yeah. And AP and Sarah and Maybelle were dressed up too. Funny, Ralph Peer remembers them in gingham dresses and AP in splattered overalls, but they weren't. They were dressed nicely in appropriate dresses and a three-piece suit for Mr. AP. While he was out of the room, Sarah was singing this song to baby, help me, my brain just, baby Joe Carter, because he was grumpy and hot and tired because he was a baby. And Ralph Peer said, "Now, that's a good number, girls. I'd like you to record that." And they said, "We can't record this." And he said, "Why?" They said, "AP doesn't like it." And he said, "Well, I don't see AP around here anywhere." So this was their first big hit. Single girl, go and dress so fine, go and dress so fine. Married girl, she wears just any kind, wears just any kind. Single girl, she goes to the store and buys, goes to the store and buys. But the married girl, she rocks the cradle and cries, rocks the cradle and cries. Single girl, go and where she please, go and where she please. But the married girl has a baby on her knees, baby on her knees. Single girl, married girl, Thank you.
We're going to play the first fiddle tune that I ever learned. When I was a kid, I went down to the Home Electric in Marshall. We got any people from Marshall here? I heard one woo, and it was backstage.
I was going to say, I don't think they're really from Marshall if that's all you got.
So I went home because Mr. Leonard Baker gave me a fiddle. I went home and I learned this song, Locked Myself in the Room, and it came from the Luke Smathers String Band, which Laura was in, and also my good buddy David Holt was in. And this was the first cut on the album.
We'll send this out to Linda, who's here somewhere tonight,
That's what I
Luke's
was just
daughter.
about to say. Yeah.
Of course.
Ready?
Yeah. When we used to be at the Thomas Wolfe Auditorium, I was just young in my 20s back then, and Luke and them were in their 70s, and then they used to refer to Charles Gidney, their young nephew, who was in his middle 50s. And the big balcony right up here in Thomas Wolfe, somebody would always yell out each night, "Howdy, Luke!" And Luke would go, "Howdy, neighbors!" So I miss that. We miss Luke and Harold and Bee and Charles Gidney. It's a great band to play in. We learned a lot, too. We're going to do one more of their songs, and I'm going to leave this with Josh. This one's called Darkness on the Delta. I sometimes think about my mother's family because they were all from the Louisiana, and one of my aunts lived right on the Delta in Vicksburg for years. I got a call from my mom one day, and she said, "Joy and Aurelia want to go to Hawaii, and they want us to go with them." And I had seen the movie Ma and Pa Kettle Go to Hawaii. And I thought, I am not missing this. Now, my aunt was a good Southern Baptist, is a good Southern Baptist. She's about to turn 90, Josh. And she was a widow in her 50s, and her preacher pulled her aside. And he said, "Now, Miss Culbertson," he said, "don't you go to Hawaii and get yourself in any trouble." She said, "Brother Mickey, I'm going to Hawaii. I'm getting a grass skirt, and I'm looking for a man with a weed eater." It was a very interesting trip. All right, are you ready, Hezzy?
Yeah.
When it's darkness on the Delta, that's the time my heart is light. When it's darkness on the Delta, let me linger in the shelter of the night. There's fields of cotton, they're all around me. The folks are singing sweet and low. Lord, it's lucky that he found me where the mighty Mississippi waters flow. Well, lounging on the levee, listening to the nightingale way up above. Laughter on the levee, and no one's heart is heavy. All God's children got someone to love. When it's darkness on the Delta, that's the time my heart is light. When it's darkness on the Delta, let me linger in the shelter of the night. Oh, that's Josh, go for it. Listening to the nightingale way up above, lounging on the levee, and no one's heart is heavy. All God's children got someone to love. When it's darkness on the Delta, that's the time my heart is light. When it's darkness on the Delta, let me linger in the shelter of the night. Thank you.
Talk amongst yourselves while I get set. Well, howdy. It's so good to be with you. You know, the first time I ever played on stage was at the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival. When I was 12 years old. And back then, you know, I played guitar, and I just loved to watch Doc Watson play. He was just one of my favorite guitarists on the whole planet. Yeah, you can give Doc a hand. Surely y'all know who Doc Watson is. If you don't, then you need to get on, as my family calls it, the YouTubes. Look him up. Or as this old woman back home says, she says, you can get on your rubbing phone and look him up. She says, I'm going to get me one of them rubbing phones. All my grandyoungins, they just rub on them all day long. I'm going to get me one of them. When I was a kid, I wanted to play just like him and never dreamed I'd get to get on stage with him. But in 2002, I got to get on stage with Doc at Merle Fest. Because I was playing at the time with David Holt. And I'd like to play for you one of the songs that we played, thinking about Doc would have been 100 this year. This is called the Streamline Cannonball. It's a long steel rail and a short cross tie. I'm on my way back home. I'm riding on the king of them all. It's the Streamline Cannonball. She moves along like a cannonball, like a star in its heavenly flight. Oh, the lonesome sound of the whistle you love as she travels on through the night. Headlight beams out in the night, the firebox flash you can't see, and I'll ride the blinds. It's the life that I love. Oh, it's home, sweet home to me. Now she moves along like a cannonball, like a star in its heavenly flight. Oh, the lonesome sound of the whistle you love as she travels on through the night. Here comes that train. I can see the smile on the engineer's face, although he's worn and gray. A contented heart, he waits for the call on the Streamline Cannonball. She moves along like a cannonball, like a star in its heavenly flight. Oh, the lonesome sound of the whistle you love as she travels on through the night. I said the lonesome sound of the whistle you love as she travels on through the night. Thank you. Well, I want to sing one of these ballads for you if it's all right. Because I'm so proud to be from Madison County. And I'll sing you one that I learned from, I learned from Sheila K. Adams and Deli Norton. And Deli was of course, Sheila is an amazing ballad singer, and you'll get to see her a little bit later on tonight. And of course, her influence was, as she called her granny, Deli Norton, who performed here at the festival for several years. And Deli was quite the singer, but my good buddy David Holt was telling me she also was kind of like a medicine woman. She would go out and she would collect herbs and she would dry them. And she had all these little remedies, you know. And he said he went over there and he was asking her about her remedies. And he said, well, what do you do for, if a fever's up? She said, oh, that's easy. She said, just get you some willow bark and you boil that down. She said, that'll cure it. Well, what do you do for high blood pressure? Oh, just some old heart root. You just chop it up and just boil it real good. You can make a little tea. He said, well, what do you do for a common cold? And she said, oh, that's the easiest of all. Alka-Seltzer. So I'll do one of these beautiful ballads. You know, some of these ballads are about pretty scary topics. In fact, one of the first ones I learned, little Matthew Groves, the last words are, he took her by the lily white hand and he led her to the hall. He took his sword and chopped off her head and kicked it against the wall. I learned that when I was 8. But this is one that I think is really beautiful. It's called Pretty Fair Maid in Her Garden. Pretty fair maid was in her garden when a stranger come a-riding by. He came up to the gate and called her, pretty fair maid, would you be my bride? She said, I've a true love who's in the army, and he's been gone for 7 long years. And if he's gone for 7 years longer, I'll be waiting here for him. Perhaps he's on some water course drowning. Perhaps he's on some battlefield slain. Perhaps he's too fair girl married, and you may never see him again. Well, if he's drowned, I hope he's happy. Or if he's on some battlefield slain, or if he's to some fair girl married, I love the girl that married him. Pulled his hand out of his pocket, and on his finger he wore a golden ring. And when she saw that man shining a brand new song, her heart did sing. And then she threw her arms all around him, kisses gave him 1, 2, 3. He said, I'm your true and loving soldier who's come back home to marry thee. Pretty fair maid, all in her garden. I'm going to close that with a song we used to sing when I was working in the tobacco field when I was a kid. And it kind of made the time pass, and later on I found out that Bill Monroe also sung this song. Y'all know who Bill Monroe is? If you don't, get on your rubbing phone. Bill was the father of Bluegrass, and he was quite a musician. And if you didn't believe him, all you had to do was ask him, and he would tell you. In fact, he is quoted as saying, he said, there have been 2 great tenor singers, and Ira Louvin was the other one. But my favorite was there's this feller, you're going to love this story. There's this feller who just loved Bill Monroe's mandolin playing. And he wanted to play just like Mr. Monroe, and so he got tickets, and he got to go backstage to a Bill Monroe concert. And after the show was over, he took his mandolin back there, and he said, Mr. Monroe, I love your playing. He said, I just want to play for you, and you just tell me what you think about my playing. He said, okay, son. So that feller set into playing, and he played. And he finished up, and Bill said, let me see that thing, son. So he grabbed the mandolin. He got to playing rawhide. No, Bill was all over the neck. He was just playing up and down that thing, and he finished up, and he handed the mandolin back to the man, and he said, well, it ain't the mandolin. But here's a song we used to sing, like I say, growing up, working in the tobacco field. It's a really beautiful gospel song. It's got easy words, and if you feel like singing, you're welcome to sing if you want to. Well, if I was a liar, I'd tell what I would do. Now I'd quit my lying and I'd work on a building too. I'm a working on a building, I'm a working on a building, working on a building for my Lord, for my Lord. It's a Holy Ghost building, it's a Holy Ghost building, it's a Holy Ghost building for my Lord, for my Lord. Work on a building too. I'm a working on a building. I'm a working on a building. I'm a working on a building for my Lord, for my Lord. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building for my Lord, for my Lord. Well, if I was a sinner, oh, I'd tell what I would do. Now I'd quit my sinning and I'd work on a building too. I'm a working on a building. I'm a working on a building. I'm a working on a building for my Lord, for my Lord. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building. Holy Ghost building for my Lord, oh, for my Lord.
Josh Goforth, ladies and gentlemen. And a musician that talented, I got a feeling we're going to see him again tonight before the night's over. Gentleman right here at the front of the stage, that is Alan. Say hello to Alan. His partner in crime is Stuart back here. Acoustic Sound Productions, they do an absolutely wonderful, wonderful job for a Mountain Dancing Folk Festival as well as Shindig on the Green throughout the season. So appreciate them so much. Got your own groupies and everything, man. I'll tell you. All right, we're going to get our next dance team out here and welcome these folks. So this is their first appearance here on the festival stage, and they're based out of Denton, North Carolina, and they've been competing all over the Southeast, and we're really happy to have them here. But they're coached by Elliot and Cheryl Skeen. So please welcome to the Mountain Dancing Folk Festival for the very first time, ladies and gentlemen, the Hickory Flat Hoedowners. Hickory Flat hoedowners. Once again, Stoney Creek Boys, ladies and gentlemen. Always doing wonderful. That's some mighty fine dancing. And we'll have intermission coming up for you in just a little bit, and opportunity for you to get up, stretch a leg, and maybe go out and buy a raffle ticket. Check out the beautiful, beautiful quilt from the Mountain Jam Circle that's out there. Also some stained glass cardinals. It's just a beautiful piece of art that Bob Blackwell has created. And you can get raffle tickets on that. And at the end of our shindig season, we'll be drawing from all of those entries. And someone's going to go away, a couple of people go away with some really, really nice things. But again, that'll be coming up during our intermission. And there's also beautiful individual items from Mangum Pottery, Toga Rugs, Asheville artists, and Asheville authors that are part of a wonderful package, and includes a day in Asheville. And you need to check that out during the intermission as well. So that'll be coming up for you, a chance to take a break and maybe get a hot cup of coffee or something cold to drink, a little snack. But we're going to get our next group out here. And I first met Nick in the radio studio, as a matter of fact. Came in to do an interview. He and his brother had just moved up from the Northeast to this area. And the moment he started talking to me, before I even found out where he was from, I realized that boy's not from the mountains of western North Carolina. But, boy, when he started playing, what an artist, fine picker. This group, led by Nick Dolphin, features Rob Sine on guitar, Andrew Blythe is playing the banjo, Celia Millington Wyckoff on bass, and told you might see that fella again. Josh Goforth way down there on the fiddle. And, of course, rounding out this group, that'll be Nick Dolphin on the mandolin tonight. This is their first appearance at the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival as a group. And put your hands together and make welcome tonight Cast Iron Bluegrass, ladies and gentlemen.
I had you once and love was blind. You were fast and I'm inclined to say that it was those wild oats kept me hanging around. But when it was clear you were meant to stray, I'd assume that you'd be on your way. Of course you took my love away, far from your wild oats. Wild, wild oats. Can't keep growing wild oats. No planting roots, no settling down. I guess I'll see you sometime around. Far away from this little town, far from your wild oats. Well, Mama said just wait and see, she'll be back if it's meant to be. I waited and I waited, but no word would come from you. No future wasn't growing, so out the door you're going. The only thing you're sowing is you and your wild oats. Wild, wild oats. Can't keep growing wild oats. No planting roots, no settling down. I guess I'll see you sometime around. Far away from this little town, far from your wild oats. Wild, wild oats. Can't keep growing wild oats. No planting roots, no settling down. I guess I'll see you sometime around. Far away from this little town, far from your wild oats. Lord, Lord.
Thank you all very much. Once again, we're Cast Iron Bluegrass. Happy to be with you this fine evening. Let's hear it for all those other great acts that came before us. We got a special guest with us sitting in on the fiddle tonight, Josh Goforth. You'll probably see him again. And then again. Well, that last tune was a song that Andrew Blythe wrote, and this next one is, too, about these fair mountains we live in.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. In North Carolina, where the mountains top the skies, that's the place I want to be when I go to die. Where the rivers run and the grass is green, there's no place else I'd rather be. Way up in the Blue Ridge Mountain Haze. Blue Ridge Mountain Haze, how long for simpler days when I could go and linger for a while. I wish that there was a way I could go back there and stay forever in the Blue Ridge Mountain Haze. Traveling back down the road, see my family there, way on into Carolina, Smoky Mountain air. The yellow lines passing by, the memories running through my mind, thinking of Blue Ridge Mountain Haze. Blue Ridge Mountain Haze, how long for simpler days where I could go and linger for a while. I wish that there was a way I could go back there and stay forever in the Blue Ridge Mountain Haze. Blue Ridge Mountain Haze, how long for simpler days I could go and linger for a while. I wish that there was a way I could go back there and stay forever in my Blue Ridge Mountain Haze. Forever in my Blue Ridge Mountain Haze.
Thank you all very much. Well, for our final tune here for you is one our bass player Celia wrote the words to. It's a prison song. We all love a good prison song now and then. We like to sing about it so we don't end up there.
Mama told me take the path that's right. I laughed and said you'll see my name in lights. But trouble always seemed to come my way. It found me and it held me in its way. The first time was on Gibson's General Store. Me and Charlie, we just wanted more. The second time it was a bank that fell. Charlie headed straight for hell. The story says in the rock you pin, they strap you in, flip the switch, and then the lights all dim in the town for miles around. They flicker and they fade without a sound. Charlie so that he would talk, so I would go to prison and he'd walk. They shot him down, he didn't have a prayer. The jury said they sent me to jail. The story says in the rock you pen, They strap you in, flip the switch, and the lights all dim in the town for miles around. They flicker and they fade without a sound. Take my final stroll toward my fate and everything it holds. In the darkest hour of my night, you'll finally get to see my name in white. The story says in the rock you've been, they strap you in, flip the switch, and then the lights all dim in the town for miles around. They flicker and they fade without a sound.
Thank you all very much.
Cast Iron Bluegrass. That's pretty good. Real good, as a matter of fact. Remind you again, we got intermission. It'll be coming up for you after a couple more acts. And opportunity to get around and meet some of the musicians. Many of them will have CDs and other items, merchandise for sale. They won't mind a bit if you reach into your wallet and maybe go home with a CD or two or whatever. Yeah, Christmas time, go home with a handful, you know. But that'll be coming up for you in just a bit. And a wonderful opportunity to talk a little bit and visit with some of our musicians and our dancers and other folks here. As you can see, we're paring down the stage quite a bit. This next young lady that's coming up, I was thinking about her this morning and about her first opportunity to appear here at the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival and how it turned out for her. The reason I was thinking about it was because I was picking greasy beans and mountain half runners. And if you know her bean story, you know what I'm talking about. But Sheila K. Adams is a seventh generation ballad singer, a wonderful storyteller, fantastic musician, and just a beautiful lady. She really does it all. And she's just been a diamond here in these mountains. She made a musical appearance in the movie The Last of the Mohicans, singing coach and technical advisor for Songcatcher. She's worked with young people, young musicians through the years, and contributed to more than 70 young folks who are going to be represented at our Youth Talent Celebration tomorrow here from 2 until 4. In 2013, she received the National Heritage Fellowship, and in 2015, the North Carolina Heritage Award. Very, very good. Again, another round of applause, please, and make welcome Miss Sheila K. Adams.
Well, howdy do. I said to him I need a chair out there to prop my banjo up on because I left my instrument stand at home. And so I wound up deciding just to plant myself in the chair and I'll hold on to the banjo while I'm sitting up here. Makes it a lot easier. I thought I'd do something interesting the other day that I had never done before, and that's the gospel truth. I typed in Sheila K. Adams just to see what would happen. And the first thing that popped up, Sheila K. Adams was born March 18th, 1953. She is 70 years old. And I said, well, good God, I could have gone all day and not had to look at that, so I'm never going to do that again. Because don't do that. You know, only professionals need to do that. The rest of us just have to look at our age and our birthday. But I did have a little song in mind that I actually learned from a mentor, Dwight Diller. Dwight passed away on this past February, on Valentine's Day. He had taken a fall and hit his head and went on to that great big festival in the sky. So I'm sure I'll see Dwight again. But this is the very first song that Dwight taught me. He called it Dinah. Dinah, Dinah, please say that you'll be mine. Take you home, love you, and kiss you all the time. Kiss you all the time. Kiss you all the time. You ride on the old gray mare and I'll ride on the roan. If you get there before I do, you better leave my diner alone. Better leave my diner alone. Better leave my diner alone. And you know, sometimes there's a song that you'll hear and it just won't have enough verses, so I wrote these next two. It's raining, it's pouring, the rain is falling down. If I can't have my Dinah, have no one in town. Have no one in town. Have no one in town. It's snowing, the world is turning white. The sun lights up the daytime, save Dinah for the night. Save Dinah for the night. Save Dinah for the night. Thank you. One of the things, how many of you were here last night? Just kind of, I can't really see, so you can't raise your hand. But how about raising your hand and waving at me? How many of you were here last night? Do you remember Donna Ray Norton? Well, Donna Ray is my cousin, and she's here. She's out in the lobby right now selling my CDs, and there's going to be a bunch of CDs selling going on here tonight. I can feel it in my bones, 'cause y'all still listen to CDs. And I do too, and I could not believe it when they took the CD players out of cars. I don't know whatever they were thinking, you know. But one of the things that Donna Ray does that I love so much is she's learning all these traditional ballads that I've known growing up. And this is one that I learned from Bobby McMillan, who was my best friend for about 50 years before he passed away in 2021, into November. So I'm doing this one for Bobby, and it's called The Wild Boar, only he called it the Witch Wife's Pig. Your job is to try to figure out how many people get killed in this love song. Bingham Bailey had 3 sons, Foliday, Foliday, following Stumadario. Bingham Bailey had 3 sons, Willie was the youngest one, Foliday, Foliday, following Stumadario. and Willie would hunting ride. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. And Willie would hunting ride with a sword and a pistol by his side. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. One day up on the greenwood side, fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. One day up on the greenwood side, up in a tree a lady spied. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. What are you doing up in that tree? Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. What are you doing up in that tree? I see you there, my gay lady. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. There be's a wild boar in these woods. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. There be's a wild boar in these woods. He's killed my lord, and he's drunk his blood. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. And how might I this wild boar see? Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. And how might I this wild boar see? Just blow thy horn, he'll come to thee. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. Well, he popped his bugle to his mouth. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. He popped his bugle to his mouth, and he blowed it long both north and south. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. Over yonder he comes through the brush. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. Over yonder he comes through the brush. He's cutting his way through the oak and ash. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. They fit the fight up in the day. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. They fit the fight up in the day. In the end, the boar he slayed. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. They rode down by the wild boar's den. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. They rode down by the wild boar's den, and they spied the bones of 1,000 men. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. They met the witch wife on the bridge. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. They met the witch wife on the bridge. Be gone, you rogue, you've killed my pig. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. Said these three things I crave of thee. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. Said these three things I crave of thee. Thy hawk, thy hound, thy gay lady. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. Says these three things you can't have from me. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. Said these three things you can't have from me. My hawk, my hound, my gay lady. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. Into his locks the witch wife flew. Fall-a-day, fall-a-day, following Stumadario. Into his locks the witch wife flew. You damned old rogue, I will kill you. Fall-a-day, for holiday, following Stumadario. Well, he split the witch wife to the chin for holiday, following Stumadario. He split the witch wife to the chin, then it's up behind and away again for holiday, following Stumadario. There's a piece of cornbread laying on the shelf for holiday, following Stumadario. There's a piece of cornbread laying on the shelf. If you want more sung, you'll have to sing her yourself for holiday, following Stumadario, the wild hog in the woods. So this is one that I actually learned from somebody that we're all here because of. This is from Bascom Lamar Lunsford. He really loved this tune, and it's even been whispered in some circles that he might have written it, but I've heard it all over the world, so I don't know if Bascom got around that much or not back in the day, but he got around quite a bit. And this is, I think, the longest continuous running folk festival in the country. Yeah. So this is Mole in the Ground. And if you want to help me sing it, you can pick it up pretty quick. Wish was a mole in the ground. Wish was a mole in the ground. If I was a mole in the ground, Lord, I'd root this mountain down. I wish it was a mole in the ground. And I swear he has some kind of a personality disorder or something, 'cause he keeps wanting to be other things. Wish it was a lizard in the spring. Wish it was a lizard in the spring. If I was a lizard in the spring, Lord, I'd hear old Tempe sing. I wish it was a lizard in the spring. Ah, Tempe wants a $10 shawl. Tempe wants a $10 shawl. Wants a $10 shawl, Lord, don't that just beat her all? Now, Tempe wants a $10 shawl. See how much he complains? Here's my favorite verse. Lordy, nope. Wait a minute. I got it. Ah, Tempe, where'd you stay last night? Tempe, where'd you stay last night? Well, I was down in the bend with some rough and rowdy men. Now that's where I stayed last night. Wish it was a hole in the ground. Wish it was a hole in the ground. If I was a hole in the ground, I'd be a mountain upside down. I wish it was a hole in the ground. Do that mole with me one more time. Wish wish I was a mole in the ground. If I was a mole in the ground, Lord, I'd root this mountain down. I wish I was a mole in the ground. Mole in the ground. Now, I got asked to do this one, so I'm going to do it really quick. It's just a minute, but it's one of Inez Chandler's favorite songs, and this is how she taught it to me when I was 15, and I was a purist and had my eyes closed. See if you want to close your eyes, see if they fly open when mine did. There was an old farmer who lived by the sea, and a merry old farmer was he. He had a fair maiden who laid on the grass, and every time she turned over she'd show her fair ruffles and tuffles as slick as a duck. She taught that old farmer a new way to bring up the children and teach them to knit, while the servants in the barnyard were shoveling out contents of the barnyard as slick as glass. If you don't like my story, you can just kiss my daughter in the parlor. Winds up the clock with a piece of red ribbon tied all round her. Poodle dog, her poodle dog, her poodle dog galore. If you don't like my story, well, I'll tell it no more. Thank you.
Sheila K. Adams, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Some members of Folk Heritage Committee are going to parade out here a couple of really beautiful things we want you to enjoy and buy raffle tickets on too. First is going to be Richard Hurley. Richard's carrying the stained glass cardinals. Just beautiful cardinals with dogwood, and that stained glass is so pretty. And look at that quilt. Is that not beautiful? Bob Blackwell created the stained glass piece. The quilt by the Mountain Jam Circle. Isn't that wonderful? Now, that could be yours. That could be yours during intermission. Please take the opportunity, purchase a raffle ticket. At the end of the shindig season, which is coming up later in this month in August, we'll be having the draw for a winner. And I'd like to say hopefully it's you, but I got a ticket in that myself. So anyway, thank you all. Appreciate it so much. But aren't they beautiful? Next up for you. This gentleman, like a lot of these musicians, so talented, multi-instrumentalist, and a singer dedicated to the music traditions here in Western North Carolina. This will be his first appearance on the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival stage, and he can choose from instrumentals, ballads, bluegrass, maybe even some mountain swing. Ladies and gentlemen, give a hand. First time appearance at the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival, Tim McWilliams.
Well, thanks y'all so much for being here, and give it up for Sheila one more time. That was great. The first song I'd like to do for you is one I'm going to dedicate to my grandfather, who would have thought it really neat for me to be up on this stage right now. And one of the real special bonds we had later in life was a love of traditional music and old country music and bluegrass. And when I first started learning this kind of music, I'd go up and visit him with my parents and bring my banjo or guitar and play a little for him. And when I would play, I could see a look in his face that I think he was transported back to his childhood days growing up in an eastern Kentucky coal mining town. And when I'd finish songs, sometimes he'd tell stories that I'd never heard him ever tell. And you know, I was 18 or 19 years old when I was doing this, so I'd been around him my whole life, but it just opened up this whole new relationship for us. And when he passed away quite a few years ago, I was fortunate enough to inherit his record collection. And I have a huge stack of Ray Price records now. And I think that was about his favorite country singer. So I'm going to do a Ray Price song here for you to start. There ain't no chain strong enough to hold me, ain't no breeze big enough to slow me. Never have seen a road too rough to ride. Ain't no jail tight enough to lock me, ain't no man big enough to stop me. I'll be there if you want me by your side. So love me if you're ever gonna love me. Never have seen a road too rough to ride. Ain't no jail tight enough to lock me, ain't no man big enough to stop me. I'll be there if you want me by your side. Standing up to find me, look for me, honey, you can find me any old time you're ready with your charms. I'll be there, ready, waiting, there won't be any hesitating. I'll be there if you want me by your side. So love me if you're ever gonna love me. Never have seen a road too rough to ride. Ain't no jail tight enough to lock me, ain't no man big enough to stop me. I'll be there if you want me by your side. I'll be there if you want me by your side. Thank you. You know, something I don't think gets enough credit in this tradition of music is the songwriting. You know, those old ballads that Sheila sang and so many of the tunes that we know and love, we forget that there was a lot of songwriting behind it. And so I'm going to do one of my favorite pieces of songwriting, Frank Prophet's song. He was a banjo player and ballad singer from Reese, North Carolina, up around Boone, and this is called Going Across the Mountain. I'm going across the mountain, oh fare ye well. Going across the mountain, hear my banjo tell. Got my rations on my back, powder it is dry. Going across the mountain, Chrissy, don't you cry. Going across the mountain, join the boys in blue. When this fighting's over, I'll come back to you. Long before it's good daylight, if nothing happens to me, I'll be way down yonder in old Tennessee. Expect you'll miss me when I'm gone, but I'm going through. When this fighting's over, well, I'll come back to you. Well, I'm going across the mountain, oh, fare ye well. Going across the mountain, oh, fare ye well. Thank you very much. The last song I'm going to do here for you tonight comes from one of the most formative musical experiences I've had in my life. A couple years ago, I was selected along with someone you know and love, Josh Goforth, to partake in the North Carolina Arts Council's Mentor Apprenticeship Program. And I learned so much in that year working with him. And one of the coolest things that we did was take the fiddle traditions from Madison and Buncombe County and adapt them to the guitar. So I'm going to do a medley of some Bard Ray tunes, a song called Flight of the Wild Geese. And if you know your fiddle tunes, you might be familiar with a really common one called Billy in the Low Ground, but his version of Billy in the Low Ground is quite different from the one that you might know. So thank you all so much again for having me. I've really loved it.
Tim McWilliams. All right, it's intermission time, ladies and gentlemen. You want to get a head start, but, you know, we've been asked repeatedly, what is there about this festival that's made it reach its 96th year? And the answer to that, every artist that you've enjoyed so far on this stage, along with stage managers, Vicki Hensley King and Charlie Glazner, all our MCs for all 3 evenings, they've all volunteered their time to bring you these outstanding shows. None have been paid, nor even had personal expenses reimbursed. We do it for the love of these traditions, and many of the artists do have merchandise to sell and have it displayed in the lobby. Support them in whatever way you can. But you're at liberty. Lights will flash, let you know to come on back in a little bit, all right?
They said as soon as I walked out, they would turn the light on me. Ah, there we go. How y'all doing? Is everybody having a great time? What a wonderful evening this is. Such a celebration. I'm super excited about these young people that are coming out. You saw them smooth dance on the first set, but now they're going to come out and do a clogging routine for you. They've won the state championship down at the state fair a number of times. They've played all around for all kinds of benefits. They're great kids. And I was supposed to read this, but I'm not going to. Their motto is keeping a mountain tradition alive. You definitely will see that with the Coal Mountain Cloggers. I tell you, this team has been made up of family members since they started, and they're still going on. I love to see the new young little couple. I know they were fun for you to watch too. So let's make them welcome. Do we have the Stoney Creek Boys all lined up here? And Rhiannon? There we go. And I guess the house lights can come down. We'll see. And the stage lights can come up, maybe? Ah, perfect. Ask and you shall receive. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome once again the Coal Mountain Cloggers. One of the really great things about that team is they have always stepped back on stage and clapped for the band. Isn't that wonderful? I hate to start talking because I'm going to get done with what I have to say. Oh, there's a silent auction. Did you all go out during intermission and bid on some things, I hope, to help support the festival? That's a good thing to do. And there's merch. If you get any merch, you know, Christmas is right around the corner. That's what they say. I've already heard the commercials. So next up on the show tonight is Brandon Johnson and Friends. I'm lucky. I'm one of his friends. Brandon is appearing at the festival for the first time tonight, but he's a regular. Yeah, he's a regular on the Shindig on the Green stage. And if you see that cute little boy on the front of your program, that's his son Carlisle, who also plays at Shindig on the Green with his little ukulele. So there's another bunch of family traditions going on, and another one right here on the stage. Catherine Parham Bricky and her dad, Bryce Parham. I know, my brain just went, what, Laura? Huh? Yeah, Bryce Parham. Bryce and I actually played in the Luke Smathers band for a minute together, so it's nice to, the Parhams have a long history in this community of playing this music. All right, shout out to the Parhams. Brandon's from Caldwell County up in Lenoir, North Carolina. His dad plays music as well. He served on the Mars Hill faculty for English and Appalachian Studies and was an instructor for the Junior Appalachian Musicians Program with the Madison County Arts Council. Yeah. And now he works as the program director with the Blue Ridge National Heritage Area. He is a traditional musician on banjo, guitar, fiddle, and he is learning to build violins. Not learning, he's already selling them. So you know how these luthiers are. Once they start making a name for themselves, you better get on their list if you want to take a fiddle home. I think we're about all hooked up here. It says that the bass player was not decided yet on this writing. Well, we just found this guy hanging out backstage and got him to play. I think he'll do fine. He's not played all the instruments yet tonight, so we'll give him a chance. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Brandon Johnson and friends.
I think I have the distinction of being the only person in Western North Carolina with gumption enough to ask Josh Goforth to play bass. But here we are, so. All right, we're going to channel folks who mean a bunch to us today. Everybody on stage here means a lot to me, and I'm very thankful to be here. We're going to play one that we kind of learned this version from Mr. Roger Howell, who if you were here last night, you saw. So I'll give him a round of applause. So here's one called Ragtime Annie. Thank you all very much. I know you've heard it a lot, but you won't hear it too much tonight. Doc Watson would have been 100 years old this year in March. And everybody up here, everybody you've heard here tonight is here in some part because of the work that Doc has done to share the music of this region and make it relevant and important and awesome, frankly. So we're going to do one here right now called Way Downtown. Way downtown, fooling around, took me to the jail. Oh, me and it's oh my, ain't no one to go my bail. Last night, old Willie came home. I heard him rapping on the door. Banana sliding with his new shoes on. Papa said, Willie, don't you rap no more. Way downtown, fooling around, took me to the jail. Oh, me and it's oh my, ain't no one to go my bail. Over at my sweet Sally's house, just sitting in that big armchair, one arm around this old guitar and the other one around my dear. Way downtown, fooling around, took me to the jail. Oh, me and it's oh my, ain't no one to go my bail. About all I've got, and $1 is all that I crave. Ain't brought nothing with me into this old world, ain't I gonna take nothing to my grave. Way downtown, fooling around, took me to the jail. Oh, me and it's oh my, ain't no one to go my bail. To the jail. Oh, me and it's oh my, ain't no one to go my bail. Thank you all very much. Laura told you who everybody was. I was asked recently why it's important to preserve this music, and I stammered on for a while and said a bunch of stuff. But I thought about it a little bit later, and the truth to me is because it's so much fun and because it matters the people you play it with. So Miss Laura Businger, one of my dearest friends in the world. I'm demanding all the applause tonight. Mr. Josh Goforth. Miss Catherine Bricky. And her father, Bryce Parham. I would love to tell you about all the ways that I know all these people and all the ways that they're important to me, but Bascom's ghost would throw his banjo at me, I think. So we're going to pick one right now that was written by Ralph Lewis, recorded by Arvil Freeman, a dear friend and mentor to us all. I'm going to get...
I just said all.
get Catherine to kick off I-40 West.
Thank you, folks. Have a great night.
Nice job for your first time. I love that. I was thinking about this standing up there with Catherine. Some bluegrass musicians I know say, who are in their late 60s now, say there were no girls playing this music when I came along. And I was like, dude, you played in Arlene Kesterson's band. She was the hottest bluegrass singer in the whole world. What do you mean there were no girls? You know, there were the Carter family. There was Bard Ray from Madison County had a band of all women. I think that's because he saw Porter Wagner do it and thought it was a good idea. All right, there you go. And then there were lots of women playing this music. All the ballad singers, lots of them were women. I grew up playing with the Dutch Cove String Band from Haywood County, where Quace Mathers and his 3 daughters and his son-in-law played music. Sometimes they let me play with them. So it is totally fitting that this next band coming up is all women. Yay. Who said yay? Yeah. I used to play in a band. It was my favorite band name I was ever in. I used to play in a band with some of these gals, and the band was all females then, and it was called Too Hot to Cook, which was the greatest. And now they've got a whole new configuration, a bunch of fine ladies playing great music, and they call themselves Nobody's Darling, which is after a song, Nobody's Darling But Mine. I'll probably let Donna introduce everybody to you, but I'm glad they're here tonight, and they're super fun. And, oh, there's a new darling back there on the bass this evening. Oh, that bass needed to come up here anyway, so that's good. So no shortage of gals. In fact, I'll just tell you, one of the women that came out of this festival, Aunt Samantha Bumgarner, was one of the first people ever to record the banjo up in New York City. She and Eva Smathers Davis, who was from Haywood County, and Aunt Samantha was from Jackson County, went up to New York City and made music on records. So this is a perfectly part of our tradition right here. We're glad these gals are here. Please make welcome Nobody's Darling String Band.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you so much. you. That was Stone's Rag. Thank you so much. We're going to play an old song called, it's not called Nobody's Darling, it's called Oh, My Little Darling. And I think it's bound to be a true story for somebody. Here we go. Oh, my little darling. My little darling, don't you weep and cry. Some sweet days coming, we're gonna marry you and I. Oh, my little darling, don't you weep and moan. Some sweet days coming, we're gonna carry the baby home. Up and down the railroad, across the county line. Sweet little baby's laughing, but the mama's always crying. Oh, my little darling, don't you weep and moan. Some sweet day's coming, we're gonna carry the baby home. Jimmy runs the wagons, Jimmy holds the line. I bust my side laughing when I see them horses flying. Oh, my little darling, don't you weep and moan. Some sweet day's coming, we're gonna carry the baby home. Cry. Some sweet days coming, we're gonna marry you and I. Oh, my little darling, don't you weep and moan. Some sweet days coming, we're gonna carry our baby home. Thank you so much. Well, you know, Nobody's Darling String Band, we play old-time music. We don't play classical or bluegrass or jazz or anything. We're pretty straightforward old-time musicians. And, you know, these old-time fiddle tunes aren't exactly easy listening music. They're kind of functional music. They're dance tunes, and people dance to them. So we'd like to play one more thing. We're going to play a pretty good old dance tune. It's called the Gaspé Reel. And
have a dancer?
I was thinking that we might invite Loretta. Hey, Loretta, are you here? Come on out. Will you all please welcome our friend Loretta Freeman. She's going to dance with us for the Gaspé Reel. Here we go. Thank you so much.
There's something I need to tell you. If you think you need to leave early, you should be aware that there is a mama bear and a cub up in a tree out in the quad. And apparently the police officer, security guys are out there. So the rule about bears is just to be really loud, like me, and then they'll go away and they don't want anything to do with you. She said as a mama and 4 cubs went through her backyard last week. Yes, 4 cubs. Yeah, so be a little careful. I mean, it's always good at this time of year when the bears are out to just make your presence known, and they usually will go away. So there you are. There's your bear warning for the evening. How many times have you been to a concert where you had to get a bear warning? And I think somebody's missing the opportunity for the best T-shirt in Asheville, which would be a bear drinking a beer. Bears and beers. Notice how I stretched there, Alan? That's pretty good. We've got the Hickory Flat hoedowners back out tonight, and boy, they are doing some fine dancing. I'm super excited about that. We get the band hooked up here and bring these folks out. They came all the way from Denton, North Carolina. I don't know if anybody told you that. I said, now that's a hot place down there, and they went, yep. So we're glad to have you up here in the mountains this evening, y'all. So please make them welcome one more time, the Hickory Mountain Hoedowners, or the no mountains, just the Hickory Flat Hoedowners. They surprised me. I'm going to look back here. Such a smooth dance. I forgot to read that part. That was amazing. Apparently, they're big competition winners, too. And one of the things they get scored so highly on is their precision, that their arms are always all at the same level and their turns are crisp. And I think you could see that. Let's give them another hand. It was their first time here. We got a little special thing for you right now. I have to say, these are two of my favorite people, Bill Byerly and Uncle Ted White. We went to Canada together one time to play for a big tourism show up in Toronto.
Don't tell too much.
And Bill Byerly had never been on an airplane before. And he held my hand the whole way. And this was way before any mess on airlines. And Bill Byerly stuck his head in the cabin and told the captain, "You did a mighty fine job." And those stewardesses pinned his wings right on him, right there. Yeah.
He still got those wings.
We had a great time, and we were happy to be up there talking about North Carolina. It was a fun tourism thing because Sonny Bono was there for Palm Springs, and they rented a 9-foot shellacked up black grand piano for some feller to sit there for 3 days in the San Francisco booth and play "I Left My Heart in San Francisco." But we played a little Sourwood Mountain and a few other things for them and had a great time. These are two of the greatest volunteers and supporters of our traditional music and the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival. Please make welcome Uncle Ted White and Bill Byerly.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks. If you were with us last night, you saw us in our normal habitat. We were with the Whitewater Bluegrass Company, and that's where we normally work out of. Now, I'm a third-generation square dance caller in my family, and y'all been sitting there watching all of this. Y'all gonna need to do a little something. We ain't doing all the work. Shake your hands out. I'm a third-generation caller in my family, and my granddaddy said, "You don't call square dance unless you do something everybody can do." You ain't even got to stand up right now. Just put your hands in front of you like this. I don't know if they can bring the house lights up. I can't tell if you're doing it or not, but now, okay, I'm counting on you. Now, here is what you have to do. You have to sing just a little bit, okay? And it goes like this. There's a hole, there's a hole, there's a hole in the bottom of the sea. So you got to swim or you're going to sink. There's a hole, there's a hole, there's a hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a hole, there's a hole. There's a hole in the bottom of the sea. Now, Glenn Bannerman, who was a wonderful mentor to both of us, was a wonderful square dance caller and had a family dance team. He always did this part of the show, and so I'm very honored, Bill and I are, to get to do this part because it was always his part. He did things a little bit differently, and we just brought this song to it. So if you'll put your one finger in the air, like, not that finger, sir. I can't hardly see you, but I knew what you was doing. Ain't that
He
the guy?
knows you, Ted.
He apparently does. Put your index finger in the air. You have to be very specific. There's a log in the hole. You ready? There's a log and a log in the hole at the bottom of the sea. There's a log and a log in the hole at the bottom of the sea. There's a hole, there's a hole, there's a hole in the bottom of the sea. Now, maybe you didn't get the word, but y'all got to sing a little bit, too. Now, there's a branch on the log, so put 2 fingers in the air, and don't make those Richard Nixon jokes, sir. A lot of these people don't even know who he was. Here you go. You ready? There's a branch and a branch on the log and the log in the hole at the bottom of the sea. Sing, children. There's a branch and a branch on the log and the log in the hole at the bottom of the sea. There's a hole, there's a hole, there's a hole in the bottom of the sea. Now on the branch is a leaf, so bloom out just like this. It's the most work some of y'all done all day. There's a leaf and a leaf on the branch and a branch on the log and the log in the hole at the bottom of the sea. Turn the volume up. There's a leaf and a leaf on the branch and a branch on the log and the log in the hole at the bottom of the sea. There's a hole, there's a hole, There's a hole in the bottom of the sea. Now, sitting on a leaf is a toad, so ball your fist and put the toad up. Let me tell you something. If you get trapped in a house on a rainy day with more than 2 children, you'll wish you knew this song. Oh, now you're going to do it. Here we go. You ready? There's a toad and a toad on the leaf and the leaf on the branch and the branch on the log and the log in the hole at the bottom of the sea. There's a toad and a toad on the leaf and the leaf on the branch and the branch on the log and the log in the hole at the bottom of the sea. There's a hole, there's a hole, there's a hole in the bottom of the sea. Now, every toad I ever saw sitting on a leaf, it was on a branch, it was on a log, he had a wart on him. So put your thumb up through there, then put the toad with his wart right up on the leaf. Take a deep breath. I wish I could see y'all. Yeah, if you think I'm funny looking, I wish I could see what I looked at. Here we go. There's a wart and a wart on the toad and the toad on the leaf and the leaf on the branch and the branch on the log and the log in the hole at the bottom of the sea. Whew. There's a wart and a wart on the toad and the toad on the leaf and the leaf on the branch and the branch on the log and the log in the hole at the bottom of the sea. There's a hole, there's a hole, there's a hole in the bottom of the sea. Now, every wart on every toad sitting on a leaf, it was on a branch, it was on a log, had a hair on it.
Oh, no.
I'm going to get mine from my chin. You get yours from your head. If you have to borrow it, we can't see you in the dark. You ready? There's a hair and a hair on the wart and the wart on the toad and the toad on the leaf and the leaf on the branch and the branch on the log and the log in the hole at the bottom of the sea. There's a hair and a hair on the wart on the toad and the toad on the leaf and the leaf on the branch and the branch on the log and the log in the hole at the bottom of the sea. There's a hole, there's a hole, there's a hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a hole.
Oh, Ted, wait a minute, Ted. Time out, time out. You forgot the flea on the hair.
I thought I could get away with that. I guess I'm doing it
You're
too slow.
doing it too slow,
Yeah.
too.
All right, if you're able to, just stand up right where you are. Yeah, you need to adjust your foundation garments anyway. Just stand right up. Now, some of y'all not from North Carolina. This is the sobriety test our highway patrol administers. You get stopped going home, jump out of your car, start doing this. Do not mention me or Bill and see if they let you keep your car. Now put your hands in the air and snap your fingers. Take that universal joint out of gear and wiggle just a little bit. Jerry Lee Lewis says stand in one spot, wiggle around a little bit, and that's when you got something. Here we go. There's a flea. And the flea on the hair, and the hair on the wart, and the wart on the toad, and the toad on the leaf on the branch, and the branch on the log in the hole at the bottom of the sea. I think they're doing good.
I know they are.
I can't see them, but I trust them. He wants to go faster. Put your hands up.
Let's get with it.
Snap it. Shake it. It's like jumping rope. We got to figure out how we're going to get in. There's a flea. And flea on the hair, and the hair on the wart, and the wart on the toad, and the toad on the leaf, and the leaf on the branch, and the branch on the log, and the log in the hole at the bottom of the sea.
Yeah.
Did we get there?
They did.
There's a hole, there's a hole, there's a hole in the bottom of the sea. Lord, there's a hole, there's a hole, there's a hole in the bottom of the sea. Everybody put your hands together.
Great job, everybody. Thank you so much.
See, Bill, I told you he's going to get a standing ovation.
Y'all ain't right. Yeah, you ain't right. Bailey and I were back there, and I go, I think this is the last one. It's the hair. And we both at the same time went, no, there's a flea. This next family, where are you going? Oh, you're just changing things up a little? Okay. Next family group is Bailey Brandon and her granddad, Jerry Sutton. I know that she's at least the 4th generation that's played in this festival. I'm trying to see if it says down here. Grandfather Jerry's been on the Folk Heritage Committee for 25 years, more than 25 years. That's important. She was participating in the virtual event in 2020, and she volunteers at the festival and the Shindig on the Green. Her great-grandfather Grover was a sight to see at any music event that he played at. He was great. Her uncle Brian Sutton and her mom Lisa also played in a band called the Pisgah Pickers with Jerry and Grover and another banjo player. Really great band. Bailey began playing the fiddle under the tutelage of Natalia Weinstein and then Josh Goforth. So here's another one of another one of Josh's proteges. And also, I want y'all to give a big shout out to Bailey. She and Josh are the co-directors of the youth festival that will be held here in this building tomorrow at 2 o'clock. It is free. There are over 50 young... Free? It's free.
Free?
Yeah, let me see. Doesn't...
Are you sure?
Third Youth Talent Celebration on this stage. Yeah, free. Oh, good. And there's over 50 young people and two clogging teams of young people. So come and see what Josh and Bailey have built in our community with these young people coming along. Pardon me? From 5 counties. I already made that part up. From 5 counties. It's been confirmed. I've been saying that all evening, but 5 counties. Bailey's about to go to Belmont University. She just graduated. She's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, Bailey, Brandon, and Granddad.
A short life of trouble, a few more words to part. A short life of trouble, dear boy, for a girl with a broken heart. Remember what you promised, not more than a week ago. You told me that you'd marry me, standing at your mama's door. Short life of trouble, a few more words to part. Short life of trouble, dear boy, for a girl with a broken heart. Now you've gone and you left me. I don't know what I'll do. I'd give this world half of my life just to be married to you. Short life of trouble, a few more words to part. Short life of trouble, dear boy, for a girl with a broken heart. Now you've broken your promise. Go marry whom you may. Over this world so big and so wide, I'll ramble back someday. Short life of trouble, a few more words to part. Short life of trouble, dear boy, for a girl with a broken heart. Short life of trouble, dear boy, for a girl with a broken heart.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. That's awfully nice of you to to give us that nice round of applause. Yeah, Bailey's going to go away to college. She sure is. I want you to behave yourself now, Bailey, all right? Yeah, that song's an old song, A Short Life of Trouble. Goes, guess it was recorded back in the 20s, credited to Grayson and Whitter, I believe.
I was introduced to it at Swananoa Gathering by Alice Gerard, so that was a pretty cool thing.
Right.
The next couple of tunes we're going to play I also learned this year at Swananoa Gathering from a class with April Virch, so we're just going to call it the Swananoa Medley.
Okay, that's good. Starts in C, right?
Thank you.
I was waiting for the third piece, honey. She just put it in the medley. If you bid on a silent auction item, make sure you check the table before you leave tonight and pick your item up and pay for it. And then we don't need to ship it to you or anything like that because you'll want to get it tonight. This next group coming out, our last big band for the evening, Gabriel Wiseman describes this crew as bluegrass, swing, and gypsy jazz. I'm going to like it. They're appearing for what we hope will be the first of many times at the Mountain Dance and boy, I just need a teleprompter, I guess. Mountain Dance and Folk Festival. I almost said something inappropriate. Please. Let's see. I had something else to say. Gabriel Wiseman is also from a long line of traditional musicians who've made a name for themselves in this music. His dad, David Wiseman, plays in the Whitewater Bluegrass Band, and David's grandparents were Lulabelle and Scotty Wiseman. They even have their own view named after them somewhere over there in Avery County, Wiseman's View. So right there, you know there's something. So here we got the rest of the band is Gabriel on mandolin, Mike Street on bass, Brett Setzer playing banjo, and Shannon Leisure, I hope I said that right, on guitar. It's the Jacktown Ramblers. Let's make them welcome.
Put him next to it, kind of, so we can kind of be close to each other when we sing.
We're used to playing in the shower, you know, and it's.
Yeah, we are. I think Brett wrote his last song in the shower. Yeah, I want to get I can't see nothing. We ready?
What's first, guys? I feel you.
Boards on the window, mail by the door. Why would anybody leave so quickly for Ophelia? Please come back home. Your neighborhood just ain't the same. Nobody knows just what became of Ophelia. Please come back home. Was there something that somebody said? We broke the rules. Was somebody up against the law? Honey, you know I'd die for you. Ashes of laughter, the coast is clear. How come the best ones always disappear like Ophelia? Please come back home. Was there something that somebody said? Yeah, baby, we broke the rules. Was somebody up against the law? Honey, you know I'd die for you. Ashes of laughter, the coast is clear. How come the best ones always disappear like Ophelia? Please come back home. Ophelia, please come back home. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We hadn't heard applause like that since we told our wives we was going to be gone real late tonight. Here's you an old love tune. I was born in East Virginia, North Carolina, I did go. There I met a fair young lady, and her age I did not know. Her hair was dark and curly, and her cheeks were rosy red. On her breast she wore white linen, where I long to lay my head. Molly dear, go ask your mother if my bride you'll ever be. She says no, come back and tell me, and I'll run away with you. The wide boat for to roll the other tide. I don't want your greenback darling. I don't want your watch and chain. All I want is your heart, darling. Say you'll take me back again. I'll go back to East Virginia. North Carolina ain't my home. I'll go back to East Virginia. Leave them North Carolinians alone.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shannon Leisure, ladies and gentlemen. I think we got time to do one more. We're going to pick one for you. Let the banjo player show off just a little bit on one. This is one called Welcome to New York, but tonight we'll call it Welcome to Asheville. How's that?
Y'all had a good time tonight. You know what I'm going to say. I'm going to put a stop to that right now.
What are we doing?
Let's do a little Welcome to New York.
All right. Yeah, we stayed downstairs so long, guys. We played all the songs we knew. We forgot what we were going to do when we got up here. Gabriel fell asleep in the corner, and it was way past time we were supposed to come up here, and we thought we missed it.
Man, I hope they come back. Don't you? That was great. We're going to bring all the musicians out on stage right now to gather around and play one final fiddle tune for you. Don't forget, pick up your auction item. Beware of the bears. If you brought anything into the auditorium, please take it with you. Come on, guys, get out here so we can organize you. That would be me. Bailey, come on. Thank you for coming out and supporting the 96th Annual Mountain Dance and Folk Festival. We're certainly glad to have you. We hope you've enjoyed yourself as much as we have. And let's get one more big hand for all these fine musicians. Your Mountain Dance and Folk Festival, and these musicians all belong to us. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Come back tomorrow night for a completely different show. Be careful.